going to end with wealth building. I mean, don't you guys want to know how to build wealth? Tom and I, we've been joking all day. It's just zeros and commas. That's what we've been saying in our inner circle the last 2 weeks, right? Zeros and commas, that's all it is. Do bigger deals. It will change your life very quickly if you're able to get to that point to do it.
Got it. Thank you. Thank you. All right, how's everybody doing? Everybody good? Got to raise that energy just a little bit. Which one do I do? All right. So, I'm just going to get right into it. What is wealth? What is wealth? Wow, couple of people. Freedom? Okay. You know, if you ask that in a room full of 200 people, it's amazing. People go blank. Right? How do I answer that question? Because it's different for everybody. So I want to answer it a couple of different ways, and I'm not a technician, right? I'm the 30,000-foot guy. I'm the philosophy guy, so we're going to stay up here today. I'll give you some technical things, some nuggets that I think you can take home and use in your quest to build wealth in your life, but most of this is just going to be philosophical. We're not going to get real down into the weeds. I'm not going to burn your brain out like Jeff did, okay? We're not going to do that. So before we get to what wealth is, let's talk about what wealth is not. Wealth is not income. And I think a lot of people get this confused because, well, I think society confuses rich and wealth and income, okay? For example, I had a gentleman call me. This is a very good friend of mine. I'd known him for well over 10 years when he called me. And he says, Tom, I have a problem. This is a big problem. It's a $200,000 problem, and I don't have the money to solve it. No, we've all been there. I've been there, right? Got a problem, we can't solve it. The challenge is this man also, in the same conversation, admitted to me that he had been making between $500,000 and $600,000 a year every year for the last 10 years, but couldn't solve a $200,000 problem. Does that make sense? Y'all following me? Was he wealthy? No. But he's running a big real estate group in Texas, teaching everybody how to build wealth through real estate. Got lots of followers, got lots of people that think because he drives a Mercedes and he wears this watch or goes to here or there on vacation or lives in this house that he's wealthy. No, he's broke. He's flat broke. It's a true story. True story. So income does not mean wealth, okay? The guy that was in that position, he wasn't wealthy. He was just living large. Living large isn't wealthy. Don't judge by somebody's car. Don't judge by their clothes. Don't judge by any of those things, because none of those tells you about wealth. And don't judge yourself by those things either, because that's not the goal. We'll get to the goal here in a minute. So what is wealth? We talked about what it isn't. Here's what it is. Wealth, in the technical term, is simply the difference between what you own and what you owe. Would everybody agree with that? That's a pretty basic understanding of it, right? Wealth is the difference between what you own and what you owe. So it's real easy. You put a T-bar on a piece of paper, and over here you put assets. That's the things you own. And over here you put liabilities. That's the things you owe, right? And when you add up both columns, we hope that this one's bigger. Some of you are laughing. You understand, from many families in the United States, that's not the case. Many families in the United States, this one's way bigger, which means a negative net worth or negative wealth. I used to be in financial planning. I used to sit down with families. That's what I did for the 10 years previous to getting into real estate. And in that 10 years, I saw so many negative net worths. It was amazing. Back then, I knew the stat. I don't know what it is today. But I'll tell you, back then, the statistic was, in the United States, the average wealth of an American family was $2. $2. It changes by age group, but the average back then was $2. I doubt it's much changed since then. So I would encourage everybody in here on your quest to build wealth to do this little exercise I've just shared with you every quarter. I started doing this 14 years ago. I took this from my financial planning days into my real estate, and I said, I don't want to do this for money. I'd worked for money all my life to that point. When I got into real estate, day one, I said, I'm going to work hard enough to get out of real estate. Because I got to be honest with you, I'm not that big on real estate. And you're like, what did he just say? Blasphemy, right? Honestly, I mean, you slip my wrist, it's not going to bleed little pink houses or anything, okay? I'm not that into it. It's work, and I'm not really into work. And I'm honest enough to say that publicly, okay? I got into real estate to get the heck out. But to get out, I understood one thing. I had to build wealth. Because if I built a certain amount of wealth that would pay me off of my wealth on an annual basis enough to live my desired lifestyle, I'd never have to work again, real estate or not. Does that make sense? So I'd encourage you every quarter to go through this exercise. By the way, when you get into commercial real estate and you start using institutions and so forth, your banker is going to require this, okay? It's called a personal financial statement. They're going to require it of you, okay? So you may as well just get in the habit now. And I'll tell you, when you're doing this little thing, it's really your report card of how you're doing in your life financially. Because at the end, when you look at it and you go, okay, last quarter my net worth was this quarter it's this. And that's where you want to compete. I tell you a problem I see when I coach and mentor with folks in real estate. They want to compare themselves to other people in their market, right? You're in the Huntsville, Alabama area or wherever you are, you know, most generally you're going to look at your buddies over on the other side of town in Huntsville, right? And you're going to start competing. You're going to start comparing. And what are you going to use? Are they actually showing you their financials and you're showing them? No, you're looking at freaking social media. And then you're going, man, I suck. Because they're just kicking my ass. No, you're looking at social media. Okay, you can't compete with people like that. You don't know the reality. Let me give you a couple of hints here. Social media is not real. Okay, social media is not real. Anybody agree with me? And Hollywood is not real. Okay, they're in the same bucket. You're watching a movie, you're watching a series, it isn't real. So don't believe the stuff you see there. Guess what? Social media is the same way. It's, man, I'm killing it, I'm killing it. Now, you didn't even pay your car note last month, buddy. Okay, I know better, right? So you can't compete with other people. What you want to do is you want to compete with you from last month. Last quarter. You want to compete with you last quarter. That's who I compete with. I don't compete with anybody else in the room. I have a lot of friends in the room, some friendly competitors in the room. I don't compete with anybody. I compete with me last quarter, and I kick his butt every quarter. I kick his tail every quarter and a half for 14 years. Because that's my goal. Don't compete with other people. You can't win that game. They're not going to be honest with you. You wouldn't know if you did win. What is wealth? That's the technical term. Now let's talk about it in real terms. In real terms, I believe wealth gives you three things. Wealth gives you choices, it gives you time, and it gives you one leg of legacy. Maybe not the most important one, certainly not the only one, as we heard from the keynote address yesterday from Mary. But it gives you one leg of legacy. And I think these things come in phases. You don't see them all at once. I didn't. You see them in levels. And together, those three aggregated amount to freedom. And somebody did say freedom when I said, what is wealth? They said freedom. I would agree entirely. I can tell you, I am a freedom freak. I am a freedom freak. Anything about freedom, I'm all about it. Okay? So choices. This one's where you get to a certain level of wealth and you start noticing choices are different in your life. I'll tell you, the first one that really stuck to me was when I reached a point when for the very first time that I recognized, I read the menu from the left to the right instead of from the right to the left. A couple of you understood what I said there. But for all my life to that point, I had always started at the prices and went down the prices to see which ones fit how much I wanted to spend on lunch or dinner that day. Then I looked across to see what I was eating. Y'all been there. There's a few of you that have been there before. The very first time I caught myself not doing that, actually looking down the left side and choosing what I wanted to eat, irregardless of the price, I went, holy crap, I've made it. I am in a different place now. And you know what? I was in a different place. For me, that was a different place because I could make choices that I couldn't have previously made. Does that make sense? Is it a big deal? No, it wasn't a big deal. But every little deal in your life that you can give yourself credit for is a big deal. Every little deal in your life that you can give yourself credit for, do it. Because you're beating yourself up enough. That's human nature. We beat ourselves up over everything. So every time you can notice that you have brought yourself to another level, acknowledge it. Acknowledge it. Pat yourself on the back and then move on. Does that make sense? The next one is time. They say you can't buy more of it. I totally disagree. With money, I can buy more time, and I do all the time. It's easy. My first example of that is my wife used to get on me all the time about not mowing the yard in a timely manner. It embarrassed her that I would let the yard get a little bit out of hand, in my opinion, a lot out of hand in her opinion, right? Because it was not a priority for me. I'm out here trying to build an empire. Come on. Hey, mow the lawn. I can get to that next week or the one after, you know. I'm only going to have to mow it again. So what's the big deal? I come home one day, and it's around Father's Day, and she says, you notice anything? I said, no. Why? What was I supposed to notice? She said, the lawn is mowed. I said, well, thanks, honey. I appreciate that. She's like, I didn't do it. I said, oh. She says, and we, neither one, will have to do it ever again. Because I've hired a lawn company. The guy that takes care of the neighbor's lawn, I walked out and met him today. His name is Jose, and guess what? For $35 every time he mows the neighbor's lawn, he's going to mow ours. And I said, hallelujah. That's the best Father's Day present I could have ever gotten. Because why? It bought me time. It bought me time. Why the heck was I out there doing something that for $35 somebody else would do? Doesn't make sense. I don't open the hood on my car. I don't open the hood on my truck. I don't do any of those things because they can be done for less than I value my time. Now, I'm not saying I'm worth more than anybody. Don't get that wrong. Please don't take that the wrong way. But at this point in my life, I have proven what I can do with my time, and I value it. And guess what? Everybody in this room needs to value your time. Write that down if you are taking notes. Put a value on my time. What is it worth? And then don't do crap that you can hire done for less than that. Take that time and energy and your knowledge and all the things that you have learned and pour it into building your empire. Pour it into building your wealth for your family. Changing the oil isn't going to get you there, right? Mowing the grass isn't going to get you there. I turned it around on my wife when we moved into our new house because our new house is 3 times bigger than the other house. And I told her, you ain't going to be able to clean this house. She's like, I will never have anybody else clean my house. I said, don't ever say never. Don't ever say never. She cleaned it for one time. And then by 2 months later, it hadn't been cleaned. And I said, honey, either you hire him or I am, okay? Right? So it works both ways. And then legacy. Legacy. What am I talking about here? I'm talking about leaving behind something you've built, leaving behind something you've learned, leaving behind somebody you've touched in your life. I'll get to that one later. But all combined, I think that just boils down to 3 legs of the same stool, which is freedom. How much is enough? So I've been talking about wealth. We've been talking about money for 2 days. And invariably, somebody is going to come up to me afterwards or tomorrow morning and say, but really, Tom, how much is enough? Right? You know the attitude. I probably won't get it in this group. But sometimes when you talk about money and you talk about wealth, people take it the wrong way, don't they? They think that you're worshiping money or wealth. Hey, this is not what we're talking about at all, okay? This is impacting people's lives. Yours and your family first, because what? We got to put our mask on in the airplane first if crap goes sideways. You put it on yourself first. We've been told this every time we've taken a flight before you start helping others, right? That's what we're doing here. You build wealth so that you can take care of your family, and then you can look around and say, who else can I help? That's the beauty of wealth. It is not a greedy notion to want to build wealth. It is not a greedy notion. So asking me that question, I'm going to look at you and I'm going to say, that's a stupid question. Just don't ask me it. That's my answer. It's a stupid question. It's like asking me, how many guns do I need? That's a stupid question. Seriously, that is a really stupid question. Okay? My answer, all of them. Okay? All of them. Or asking, how fast does a car really need to go? As fast as it can. Right? I mean, these are silly questions. I'll turn it around to you. How many pairs of shoes do you need? Right? Okay? Don't ask silly questions. Here's why. That question leads to a limiting mindset. You understand? That question leads to a limiting mindset. And I can't go there. I don't allow myself to go there. I don't allow myself to go there. The other objection that I get when I'm doing wealth talks is, and this one usually isn't said in a group, but sometimes off to the side, what if it changes me? What if I don't like it? What if I don't like myself? What if I don't like what I become? Here's what I've found. I've been blessed in so many ways I couldn't put them all in a slide point. I live a blessed life. One of those blessings is having the opportunity to know a lot of wealthy people now. Over the last 5 years, I've been introduced to various people in various circles. And I can tell you this from my experience with a lot of wealthy people. Wealth is kind of like alcohol. Not in the bad sense, but you understand, if you have a mean, nasty, grumpy person and they start hitting the bottle, what do they turn into? They're a mean drunk, right? Yeah, that's a person you just don't want to be around, right? But if you're with this fun, great, fun-loving, human-loving individual, what do they turn into? The life of the party, right? That's the person you want to hang out and have a few whiskeys or beers or whatever with, right? Wealth is a lot like that. It doesn't change who you are. It just brings out the truth. So if you are a greedy, mean, hateful, spiteful individual, you're a greedy SOB, you're just going to be a bigger greedy SOB, that's all. I mean, it didn't change you. It just brings it out better for everybody to see. But if you're a loving, if you're a caring, if you're a giving, if you're a charitable human being, whoa. I just got goosebumps. Oh my goodness. The difference you'll make when you become wealthy. Oh my goodness. It ain't going to change you. It's just going to allow you to accentuate the human being you are. Why? I'll talk a little bit about entrepreneurship. You know, I've been in real estate for 14 years, and I've never, ever introduced myself to anybody as a real estate investor. I've never really seen myself as a real estate investor. I know most of you, when we shake hands and I ask you what you do, I'm a real estate investor, I'm a real estate investor, I'm a real estate investor. I think that is, again, a limiting mindset. I've always introduced myself as an entrepreneur. In fact, now my wife makes me introduce myself as a serial entrepreneur. Like, like a serial killer, because I do it over and over and over. I can't stop. It's an addiction at this point. So I am a serial entrepreneur, and I would encourage you to think in your own mind about that and say to myself, am I limiting myself by identifying myself to other people as just a real estate investor? Some of you even limit yourself even further than that. I'm a flipper, or I'm an Airbnb host, or I'm a whatever, fill in the blank, right? That's even more limiting yet, and I think it's even more dangerous yet, because here's why. There's two reasons that I think of. Number one, you have blinders on, and you're not going to see other opportunities that are around you because you've already told yourself over and over and over and over and over that this is all you do. I don't do that. I'm an entrepreneur. I just look for business opportunities. At this point, most of them are in real estate. Now, I've said that I work in real estate, but I have not cut out any other opportunity that might come my way. And it is, by the way, not important to Jeff when I talk to Jeff that way. What is it important to? It's important to me, because my subconscious hears everything I say. And if it hears me say over and over and over and over and over that all that I do is real estate, what's it going to do when I have another opportunity that goes past me? It's not going to notice it. It's not going to notice it at all. It's a very limiting mindset, and I hate limiting. I hate limits, period. What do you want out of life? When I coach with people, the first thing I ask is, what do you want? And, it always catches people off guard unless they've heard me talk and know it's coming, right? Because most people can't answer it. Most people can't answer it. If they can, it's a couple of words, maybe a couple of sentences, kind of jumbled around. I'm talking, no, seriously. Could you write a paragraph that describes your ideal lifestyle? Here's another exercise for you, just like the T-bar that you do quarterly. Write your ideal lifestyle in vivid color, in vivid detail, to every detail you can. The more detailed you can get, the better. Because this, your ideal lifestyle, acts like your Google Maps. If I tell you, I'm here in Richmond, Virginia, right? Yeah, I'm here in Richmond, so if I wanted to go to Charlotte from here, I don't know how to get there. Okay, because I'm not from Richmond or Charlotte. I don't know the way. I'm going to open up my app on my phone, and then what am I going to plug in? My destination, right? You got to plug that in. The app can't tell me how to get there until it has a destination. You can't know how to get where you're trying to go in life until you have a destination. Does that make sense? To use some, analogies of things that we use, this is your GPS. This is your Google map. When we got into real estate, I told you, I sat down with my wife, and some of you don't know my story. We started 14 years ago broke, okay? Not Hillary Clinton when we left the White House broke. She said they were broke when they left the White House. I've laughed about that ever since, because that was a whole entirely different broke than the one I went through, okay? I can tell you. Nobody was asking me to come speak or write book deals or, give to my foundation or anything like that. We were broke, period. And I told my wife when she got home from waiting tables at Cracker Barrel that morning, I want to write a plan to never be broke again. And she said, I want to write a plan how to pay the rent this month. How's that? Some of you have had that conversation, haven't you? Okay? I finally convinced her. I said, let's sit down. Just humor me. What else are we doing, right? Sit down. Let's go through this. Well, what would we want our life to look like in 5 years? And we said, well, we'd like a house on the water. We'd like to live on the water, a nice house, water in the back for our backyard, a pool, this and that. We'd like to have I said, I want a ranch. I'd love to have a ranch, high fenced, in Texas, that's a thing. I could buy deer and antelope species from all over the world and have them roaming around on the ranch. I could have people come in, fly in from wherever and go hunting, and I could guide the hunts in my spare time, as a pastime. I like to have my federal firearms license so I could buy guns like at wholesale. That'd be cool. I'd like to, drive this kind of car. I want jet skis, a Harley. We go through all these things that we want to do. And she's like, I have one. Now all of a sudden she's on board. I said, what do you want in the plan? She says, I want to be able to take our kids on a vacation every year and pay for it as long as they'll go. I said, that's a cool one. We had teenagers in early 20s at the time, none of them married, 2 in college, 1 in the Army, 1 in the Marine Corps. None of them lived in Texas. They had 1 in Hawaii, 1 in Afghanistan, 1 in Kentucky, and 1 in Illinois. I said, that's a great idea. I'll go you one better. Let's say that we will take the kids and their spouses once they have them, and all the grandkids once they have them, and we'll go on a vacation and we'll pay for everything. She's like, ooh, wow, that's going to be expensive. I said, yeah, but wouldn't it be cool? Yeah, that'd be cool. We put it on the list. Imagine what my life looks like right now. I just described it. I just described my life. We take a vacation a month, whether we need it or not. I leave in 2 days for vacation, for my March vacation. We take our kids on a vacation. We even do another vacation. Oh, we do a lot of vacations, obviously. I figured it up. I live 3 months at home every year because I live another 4 months at my ranch, and then we live in our 5 timeshares, and then we have other vacations. This life came because I designed it. I'm not trying to impress anybody here. I don't care what anybody else thinks. I agree with Mary. It's none of my business what y'all think of me. It just isn't. Okay, I don't concern myself with that. I'm trying to inspire you. There's a difference. I don't want to impress you. I want to inspire you. I want to inspire you that a guy that barely graduated high school in Lower Appalachia could build a life that is so freaking incredible, I couldn't have imagined it even 5 years ago. A guy with no college education could build a lifestyle where I can go and travel and help other people and inspire them to go do the same thing. That's what I want you to leave here with. Not that Tom did good. That doesn't matter to me. That you can too. If that bozo can, surely I can. That's what I want you to leave with, okay? If that bozo can, right? He didn't even go to college. Or if that bozo can, man, he ain't even that bright. Yeah, it's true. You can too, okay? Decide what your lifestyle will cost. Here's the technical. 2 slides of technical. Decide what your lifestyle will cost. Back then when we did that, we said we would need about $200,000 a year. And we were spitballing, right? That was 14 years ago, so inflation that we've been going through hadn't taken place. And at that time, the most we had ever made in a year was $106,000 a year. That was the most we had ever made in a year. I was in sales, and I was good at that. That's the only thing I've ever been good at in my life, okay? We said if we had $200,000 a year, we could live forever. I said, well, that's easy math. If we could get 10% on it, we just need $2 million, right? Let's just round it off and make it simple. I said, so there's the goal. We need $2 million net worth. Now, life happens, okay? You set your goal, and you got to break it down. That was our 5-year goal. I said, in 5 years, we're going to go from where we are. She's like, where are we? I said, well, right now, we are like most Americans. We are at a negative $65,000 net worth. True story. We started at a negative $65,000 net worth, had a $2 million goal. We're going to try to get there in 60 months. Break your goals down in months, not years. Break your goals down in months, not years. Why? Because 3 months from now, I don't want you to say I got 5 years to get to my goal. No, you don't. You've only got 57 months. Because 3 months have gone by since you set that goal. Does that make sense? It places a sense of urgency in your mind every time you look at that. Set it up in months. Break it down into smaller time frames. Keep an eye on your goal. We had vision boards of all these things that we wanted in our life. We had to look at them every day when we walked through the front door. We had some really interesting conversations with the pizza delivery people. Reward yourself for good results. And for you that are overachievers, punish yourself for bad results. Why do I say overachievers? Because most of you won't do that part. You're too chicken. Most people won't punish themselves. They're not capable. This is interesting, though. It's an interesting paradox to me. We call ourselves self-employed. So if we are employed, is there not a punishment for not hitting goals at your job? Most generally, there is some type of a repercussion for not hitting your goals. We say we're self-employed, which means you are your employer, but you don't hit your goal, yet you won't punish yourself? What is that? What is that? You want to push yourself harder, start punishing yourself. Use the sticks and the carrots, okay? Use the sticks and the carrots. I would deprive myself of things that I did not want to deprive myself of if I didn't hit a goal. And I just became a goal hitter. I just wasn't going to not hit my goals. Even if I had to work late, even if I had to work weekends, even whatever I had to do, I was going to hit my goals. And then don't forget to live life along the way. This isn't the most important thing in life. It's just going to set you up for a better one. Does that make sense? Building wealth isn't the most important thing in life, but it's going to set you up for a better life. But if you get there and you've lost your family along the way, what have you accomplished? So make sure that you don't do that. Make sure that you put your date night in. Make sure you spend time with the kids and you do those things. Might you cut back on them? Yes. If you're short on your goal, maybe you might cut back a little. You might say, hey, kids, I'm going to miss this particular thing, but this is why. And we're going to make it up and we're going to go do this, right? But don't lose sight of the real important thing, which is your family. Evolve as you grow. We started with single families. We did fix, flips, rentals, all the different things on there. Then we started buying apartment complexes. And then we got out of apartment complexes, we started a lending company. And now we buy businesses and commercial buildings. I don't do any of it because I have to do it anymore. We have been financially independent for 8 years. We reset our goal 3 times. We got to 2 million and I'm like, okay, I don't feel wealthy. Do you? She's like, nope. I said, we keep going? She's like, we have to. Yeah. Because guess what happened? Instead of a Timex, I was wearing a Movado. Instead of driving this, we were driving that. Right? Right? We were raising our lifestyle as we were raising our wealth, and all of a sudden, that 200 grand or that $2 million, it wasn't all that much anymore. I'm like, go for 4? Yeah, let's go for 4. We get to 4. Go for 10? Why not? Let's do it. Right? And you're going to keep doing that. You're going to keep setting. That doesn't mean you failed. You're just stretching yourself. But you know what? If we had set, let's say 10 million as our wealth goal day 1, we'd have probably never got to 2. Why? It's too far away. It was too big a bite. It would have been too big of a bite. We would have never believed we could achieve that goal. And if you don't believe you can achieve a goal, you're right. You're right 100% of the time. If you set goals that you can't even believe in, you're right. You wasted your time. So we set something that we knew we could achieve, or at least we hoped and thought that we could achieve. This is my why. That's family vacation last year in South Carolina. All of our kids work in our company, and I hope to build a company big enough that all the grandkids can work in the company if they choose to. We would never pressure them to do so, just like we never pressured the kids to. But we gave them that option. We said, would you like to? Some said yes, some said no. Then the ones that said no started looking and going, yeah, I think that does look pretty good now, right? You let them make their own choices. For those parents that are hoping to do something similar, let them make those choices on their own. Let them think that it was their choice. But you have to build something big enough that they could see themselves in. Does that make sense? That's on us. I have to build something big enough that my kids and grandkids could see themselves working in. One of them runs our meat processing plant. Another one's our IT manager. Another one is our loan origination licensee. Another one, Jonathan, over on the side, he's a broker of our brokerage, and he also handles all of our REOs and our asset management. And he also has, outside of me, his own rental portfolio. They are all doing their own thing. The IT guy actually has a product that he has created. He puts it together and he sells it online. He has his own company. I'm not a part of it in any way. I'm raising entrepreneurs. We need more entrepreneurs. We're a dying breed. There's damn few of us left. We need more entrepreneurs. We need you to teach them as well. My son, when he was getting out of the Marine Corps, I asked him what he's going to do, and he went through all the options that he had, and he had options. And then after he went all through his options, he looks at me and he says, but honestly, looking at you and Melissa's lifestyle, I think I want to do what you do. I said, and what is that? He said, I have no idea. I was on a sat phone while he was still overseas. Yeah, he's like, I have no idea what you do, but I think I want to do that. Okay. I also feel a responsibility to these people. These are our employees at one of our companies. This is our loan company. Now we have over 40 employees among all companies. What an amazing thing to be able to affect the lives of that many families and give them full-time employment with benefits. They have health insurance that we 100% pay for. They have 401k and a match option, and they have paid time off. We try to treat these people as well as we can financially treat them, and we try to affect change. We encourage them, learn to invest. Build a portfolio, use our products, and build something for yourself. It's not all about us. Nothing we do is all about us. It's got to be win-win. You can do something like that too, and look at the difference you can make in people's lives. Look at how many lives you can affect with your change. And my last slide, go change the lives around you. Go change the lives around you. They say that money can't buy happiness. That's another stupid saying. It's not true. It's just said by broke people to make themselves feel better. Because I can tell you this, I've been wealthy. I've been a lot more wealthy. I've been broke more times than I care to recall. And I was happier when I wasn't broke. It's true. I've been happier when I wasn't broke. So if money can't buy happiness, I would retort, well, being broke don't buy it either, okay? So go get yourselves wealthy. Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it. All right.
Wow. You got a standing ovation. And you guys wonder, like, when I met him on the beach off the coast of Mexico and we had our very first mastermind, like, we connected really quick. Tom, there was a lot in that, and I just want to say thank you. It was very inspiring. Are you guys inspired? Thank you. Oh, my gosh.
Thank you.
Really appreciate you. And next time, bring Melissa along.
All right.
Because we would like to hear from his wife, wouldn't we?
You would never hear from her. She does not speak publicly.
She can just hang out with Cheryl then.
Yeah.
That's okay. Okay. Wow. Tomorrow is Mastermind Day. How many of you guys are coming back? Okay. We're going to cross the Rubicon with Wendy Sweet. Raise your hand, Wendy. Tom, do you have a name for yours? Quick. 50 feet, what? The 50 feet game? Okay. Come on up. Come on, Cheryl. I've been trying to get my wife up here for 2 days. Yeah, right? Come on up. I can't hear you. Busy feet. Okay. All right. It's going to be good. How many of you guys have ever tuned into Sunrisers on Friday morning? I do it. As you guys, wow. As you guys know, I do it regularly. I'm on a lot. Probably at least 2 to 3 times a month. Tomorrow morning, 7:30, Wendy, in this room. Okay? And then 7 o'clock tonight, Jeff Sajaki, come on up here real quick. Jeff's going to lead. You guys go 24/7, don't you? Tonight at 7, right?
Yeah, tonight at 7 in the bar area, just those that want to sit and talk shop, essentially. It's not necessarily about all the topics that were covered this week or the last couple days, but right, it's about whatever you guys want. So we can talk about what happened the last couple days, but if it's triggered other ideas that relate to other parts of your business collectively as a group, let's just share it. Right? That's what tonight's really about. It's just going to be kind of Q&A amongst ourselves. Right? So let's try to figure out how to relate it all.
How many of you guys think you might come back? Sweet. I got to stop by my parents, and I got some stuff I got to do. But I want to see the pictures. Can somebody text them tonight? All right, tomorrow morning we're starting 8 a.m. sharp. Tom, you've inspired us like to 10x. Thank you for that. One more round of applause for Tom. Thank you, Tom. Like, my mind is blown. So thank you. And I will see you guys at 8 a.m. sharp, okay? Go get dinner together. Come see Jeff at 7 in the restaurant and have a wonderful night. Make deals tonight, okay?